In episode 215, we cover the brand new trailer for Logan.
We also have the official debut of the Nintendo Switch. We finally know exactly what the console does.
And the moment you've all been waiting for but didn't know it, we have trivia with the Mr. Riggs.
All of this and more on today's show.
Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
And with us today, we do have some special guests. So
Not one.
Not
two. 3 guests.
Does the dog count? Because that would make 4.
That's a weekly guest.
So let's go around the room. You have myself, Kelly.
And Daniel.
It's Alex.
Mr. Riggs!
And Clayton.
And Clayton. So for those of you joining us for the first time, the way we typically format our shows, we start out with some news, again ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. And we follow up with a comic book highlight of the week. This week, however, is just a little bit different.
We won't be doing a comic book highlight. We will be covering news as usual. You may have heard Alex before. He was on the Batman vs. Superman script reading, the 2 parts that we did.
Way back in the day.
Way back. That was 2 years ago. Mr. Riggs was just on 2 months ago, maybe a month ago, with episode 208.
Episode 208.
And then Clayton has never been on the podcast before, but both Riggs and Clayton I know from when I used to live in Illinois. So just to give you a little bit of background on that. And the last couple of times, actually, if you want to each give a little bit about yourselves for any of the new listeners out there.
I'll go first, because I'm a go-getter. I work in a warehouse. Do warehouse-like things. I'm not as much of a comic book reader as the professionals here, but the podcast and just being friends with Daniel and Kelly has really gotten me into reading more comic books. Lately, I always get my advice, I guess, from Daniel as to which ones I should read, and he never steers me wrong.
Well, there you go. And Clayton, you work in a movie theater, so he's pretty much up on all the latest movies. I'm not going to say which theater just in case, but I mean, I think that's something we all worked at, except for Riggs and Kelly. We've all worked at a movie theater.
Yeah.
I applied at the movie theater.
I thought about applying at a movie theater.
I saw a movie once in a theater.
And then Alex also works at a comic shop. Same one as I do.
Yep.
So, tons of comics in our lives. The shows we've been doing, the last couple of episodes, we've been starting off by sharing a Halloween story, how we're getting ready for it. And Tim Yates last week shared his Halloween story, how he almost suffocated by dressing up as a mummy and covering his face.
With toilet paper.
So, what are you guys preparing for as far as Halloween? I don't know if you guys are doing anything. I know Alex is. He's got a costume he's going with. This episode will release on Sunday, which is the 30th, so the day before Halloween.
The plan right now is at our store, since we just got the word that we can dress up on the 29th, which is Halloween Comic Fest, and the 31st. I'm hoping to be Ash Williams from the Evil Dead series, because that show right now is boss.
See, when you told me Ash, I just assumed Ash Ketchum from Pokemon.
It was real funny because I thought about it later, and you were like, "Oh, cool, I'm going to be a Bulbasaur," and I was like, "Oh, cool, I guess." Like, I don't know why that mattered, but I was like, "Cool, you're going to be a Bulbasaur." Because I never connected the two until way later.
He says, "Oh, I'm going to be Ash," and I'm like, "Oh, I get that reference like right away." And then part of me was just like, "Oh, well, it's not necessarily going to be Ash Ketchum. There's probably other Ashes out there."
No.
But then Daniel's like, "Oh, that's great. I'll be Bulbasaur." And I'm like, "Oh, that just confirmed inside my head. It is Ash Ketchum."
I'm just going to be Volcanic Ash, actually. I'm just going to make a mess.
Are you, Riggs, or Clayton doing anything for Halloween? Just working, most likely?
No, actually. Actually, for the day of Halloween, yes. I actually organized a Halloween party in the warehouse. And we work like anywhere from 12 to 15 hours a day. And so I set up a costume contest that whoever won the costume contest can leave after working 8 hours. So that's like the dream prize. And so I feel like we're going to get in a lot of people for that.
What about you, Clayton?
Doing nothing. Like normal.
Haven't celebrated Halloween in a few years?
Yeah, probably. The last time I dressed up was as a pedophile. That was a pretty big hit.
But it was in March, which was weird.
I grew out a mustache, the good old kid toucher mustache. And also you have to have a clipboard and a paper and get people to sign it, tell them that you've notified them that you are a sex offender. And it's best to do it with the kids' parents as they're trick-or-treating, going up to them and saying, here, I need you to sign this.
Over to Emperor President Kelli.
Here I am.
I thought we're gonna do stories.
Oh, you're still
because I actually have a good segue off of his costume.
perfect.
So I'm 33. So I did Halloween in the 80s, which was a vastly different experience than it is now. I have this really memorable moment where my mom, who ended up being one of the most overprotective helicopter moms ever, taking my brother and I out when I had to have been like 6 and my brother was 3. And we were just going around the neighborhood. I remember getting rolls of pennies and little plastic cars. Like, our neighborhood was the worst. But we got to this one house and there were no lights on, but we went up to it anyway. Knocked on the door, and then it was just like a voice, like this dude's voice from inside. He's like, hey, happy Halloween. And we're like, oh, and he's like, you got to reach in the mail slot to get the candy. And so we're like, we were just like, oh, I don't know. And my mom was like, do it. You got to get the candy. So like, I remember like I reached in first, and then like he just kind of like grabbed my hand, but then put like some candy in it and pulled it back. And I was like, oh, cool, okay. Put the candy in my bucket. Then my brother reached in, and all of a sudden he just started screaming. And he was just like, ah, ah, ah. And we were like, oh. And then he stopped and then got candy and pulled it back. And it turned out the guy had like a joy buzzer or whatever, but like it could have been way, way worse.
Yeah.
Cupped his balls or something.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've had a lot of like good little Halloween stories like that.
You're
just
right.
like that.
Just like
just
that.
a lot of weird, like random
One
crap.
time it wasn't candy.
That could
He
apply
just,
today.
he just
as
like
you mentioned.
grabbed it and kissed it, and then patted it and let it go.
Happy Halloween.
It was a trick this year.
But a treat for me.
So, Emperor President Kelli, as
Yes.
I was saying, you are making your final push to have people write you in
Yeah.
this election.
It's almost election day.
We had another question come in from a listener on Twitter at Cuban Slim, who asked, I demand that each state animal bird be replaced with a Pokemon. What say you?
Done. Already working on it in my head.
So what would Florida be then? What would your home state of Florida, what Pokemon would be the state animal?
Palm tree executor.
The Alolan form
Yes.
executor. That's perfect.
Yes. That's perfect. There's no other option.
Moving into the news this week, starting off with video games. Last week, Nintendo showed off its reveal on the home gaming system known as the Nintendo Switch. I don't know if everyone here has already seen the video to it, but essentially the mobility of a handheld is the main feature in the new system, as players are able to take their gaming on the go.
Of course, when you're at home, the Nintendo Switch rests on a dock that charges the system and connects to your television.
So that thought alone, is that appealing to people our age? Do you think this is more for a younger audience and we're getting to that point where we're just caring about the games and the first party titles? Is this another gimmick, as people have been saying Nintendo has done in the past with the Wii, with the Wii U? Or is this a legitimate good feature?
Well, okay, so the way that I see it is with games that are on the go, and I grew up in the Game Boy, era. And now I live in the cell phone game era. Mm-hmm. And it's always just been about simplicity with the games. And you just really just want time wasters. Just stuff to do while your buddy's in the bathroom or you're on a train or just something to pass the time. Even my all-time favorite Game Boy Advance game is Zelda 4 Swords. And
that was the Game Boy Advance one?
Yeah, it was the Game Boy Advance one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it may have been on another one, like Game Boy Color, but I had it for the Game Boy Advance. And even that, it was very time-consuming, and I felt like it would have just been better if it was on a more, stable console for my big TV. And I just feel as though when you take a game for the Switch and you just have it on the go, it's not going to be that appealing because people, I don't know what games are coming out for it, but you just want something that's simple when you're on the go because you're not going to have a lot of time to play it on the go. And so most of the games are going to be played while you're at home anyway. Mm-hmm. That's just how I feel.
The controller itself doesn't look that handheld. I mean, it's pretty massive. I don't see how people are going to take that around with them. I don't know if it was... Someone was mentioning that, well, iPads are something that people take with them now. So this isn't really a huge deal. But to me, I'm afraid of breaking that thing, snapping it in half, dropping it.
Right.
Especially that expensive screen. That is the console itself. The dock is just a connection to your television. All of the wires and all of the things that it runs off of are on that screen.
Are they going to create cases for it? Do we even know yet?
They have to. Like, they're going to have tons of third-party cases, Pelican, PhD, all of those.
OtterBox.
Maybe OtterBox.
Yeah, why not?
Is anyone here getting one, aside from probably Kelly and I, when they announce the next Pokemon or Star Fox?
No, probably not.
I honestly, the next thing from Nintendo that I'm going to get is you mentioned on your show that they have this thing where it's got the NES and it's got like the 100 games or whatever. As I'm going to probably end up getting that, and then also one, which I'm assuming that they're going to come out with, is one for the Nintendo 64 too. That's got a bunch of games. I'll probably be spending my money towards Nintendo on that and not getting the Switch.
Yeah, like, I have an hour-long commute every day. Like, if I got a self-driving car, yeah, I'd probably get one. But I generally don't have time to play, so it doesn't matter. When I'm on the go, like, I got crap to do, so...
I think this will sell really well in places where they have trains and subways and people are using the bus, because, you want something to do on your commute.
So the way this device works is when players actually lift the Switch from the dock, the system instantly switches to the portable mode. And the screen is also in high definition to try to match what you play at home on the television. It features 2 detachable controllers on the side, which was really bizarre to me because they're kind of like 2 Wii controllers. This is the screen itself as I'm holding my phone. And then there's 2 little like pads that you can take off the screen and you can set the screen up as a television and use those little pads as controllers. But I think those controllers are going to get lost all the time. People are going to lose them. They're going to break them. I'm never going to detach those things. I'm always just going to keep it on the screen and never risk that.
For people who are going to play with friends, though, I mean, you saw each friend could use one of those little controllers. So you could realistically play with a friend.
I foresee a lot of throwing those little controllers because they're like so tiny and ready to go. But I also kind of wonder, like, and this could just be a lot of theory jumping, but like, I wonder if they're gonna maybe forward think their, like, maybe VR or something like that, because it reminded me a lot of the VR controllers.
So here's a question I have for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you had one and I had one, could I take my controller and sync it up with yours, with your Switch? That way we could kind of have like a Mario Kart thing going.
What I saw is I think you can both have your Switch and play together. Like, your Switches will sync up.
Okay.
Not necessarily just the controllers.
So, like, the commercial showed 2 screens set up back to back. They were playing NBA, 2K whatever, 2K18 at that point, and each one was using that screen as their television. So the 2 players here, 2 players there, and they were able to sync, as you said. Mm-hmm. But they were using like the regular little controllers. I didn't see any pro controllers that they had synced up to it. But I don't see why it wouldn't, because you don't have to connect anything to it. It's all wireless.
Okay, so it's got that. 1 point, Nintendo.
The Pro Controller looks like Xbox's controller, has joysticks on it that are diagonal rather than what it was before, where it's just kind of a cross. So it's matching. They're pretty much saying this is the standard to pads.
Not in the same axis. People whine about, like, the PlayStation.
Right, exactly. And also, the games are going to come in the form of cartridges now. No longer Blu-rays, DVDs, CDs. So going back to cartridges.
Somebody's going to create a case where you can store your cartridges in the case. Oh, mind blown.
Cartridges mean no loading times, right? I mean, that's just, the games are going to be right on. I don't know if you're still going to have to do any installation. It's just going to be like DS games. You pop the game in, start right away.
I can't see there being any installation if it's on cartridge, because it's right there. It's right on the game. So, because you only need to do installation when you have a disc. Mm-hmm. So when it's reading off of that. So yeah, no, it should just be instantaneous.
And people were saying that those little cartridges, a lot of them have more memory in them than a Blu-ray disc already. So you can fit in huge games in that one cartridge than what you normally could in like a PS4, an Xbox One, that kind of thing.
I feel like somebody was trying to figure out how to make more space on a cartridge because they're like, I just want to go back to cartridges. Like, I'm feeling nostalgic. Let's make this happen.
The Switch is set to come out in March 2017.
So we just saw the Logan trailer. A few of us hadn't seen it yet.
Especially the guy who works at a movie theater.
What am I going to say?
And this is going to be Hugh Jackman's last movie. Until maybe they add more zeros on the check. I don't know. But he has been saying that this is it for him.
As Wolverine.
Is that what he said? As Wolverine?
Well, I think this is his last one as Wolverine.
So he could just continue as Logan and keep making movies then.
Oh, I don't know. You just said this was his last movie.
Oh,
and
okay.
then you ended the sentence. He's like, I'm done, guys. I'm going to go take up splunking.
Or just like lounge in his millions.
Yeah.
The new Logan trailer has been received so well by everyone. People that walk into the shop are raving about it. You were just saying, Clayton, that people wouldn't shut up about how good it looks. And what do you think, Riggs? Did it look good? Would you watch this? I know you don't like movies.
I don't like movies, but it does look good enough where if you're like, well, let's see it, I guess I'll pay for my ticket instead of just conning you into paying for my ticket, which is what I usually do with Tim. It's got some interesting parts to it, and the preview, trailer, whatever, it definitely leads a lot of questions that I want answered.
Yeah, it looks earnest. Like
it does.
They are fine. Like when Deadpool came out and they were like, okay, it's R-rated, and they said, oh, now we can do another R-rated film, and we're going to do the next Wolverine as an R-rated film. I think people just assumed, oh, it's just going to be hyper violence and everything, but it looks like they're really trying to do a good story. Like it seems like they're taking it very seriously. They're actually moving in that direction of, hey, let's actually consider some of the best stories with these characters and try to craft our own mythology, but with the same tonal marks as the original like Wolverine miniseries or to a degree Old Man Logan, although if you've read that, like this looks nothing like it other than he's older. So I think, I mean, right now I just from what I've seen, this might be like the Wolverine movie that makes you cry at some point. Like it's gonna
I was already crying in the
yeah. Like I mean, like I like that version of Hurt, even though I'm a big fan of the Nine Inch Nails like original version. But like I'm like, oh, they picked like the right song for this to make me kind of care. Yeah. So and I've been wanting to see X-23 on film.
We're finally gonna get
time.
X-23.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people have already taken the trailer and freeze frame to where you see the two claws coming down on Wolverine's face as he's blocking it.
Everyone says the claws, but like her like little spin kick or whatever that she does right before that, like that was what I thought was really cool. I'm like, holy crap, she moves completely different than he does. So it's going to be really fun to watch, I think.
This is still directed by James Mangold, who did the Wolverine, which was okay. So I don't know. He's also directed Walk the Line, 3:10 to Yuma. So maybe this is closer to what he's done in the past than the better movies that he's done.
Yeah, I mean, it's Fox, so the older movies, you gotta wonder how much top-down decisions were coming from like studio heads as opposed to the creative side of it. So maybe because of what's his name, Tim Miller, that did Deadpool. Yeah, like maybe with as much as he was able to do without the studio heads basically giving a crap, maybe that was a sign like, hey, let's let them do what they do, you know. Or maybe there's just new I don't know. I don't follow who's in charge, but maybe there's new studio heads who are like younger fans who are like, this is going to be awesome. Like, just let them do it.
Before we finish Logan and Wolverine in general, I still want a shot of the yellow and brown outfit that we got teased in.
Yeah, we saw for a moment.
That deleted scene.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're finally going to get it. It's like, no, get rid of that.
Maybe there's going to be like a quick shot at the opening of the film where he just like tosses it, like he just took it off, so you don't actually see it on him. He just throws it in the corner and
or
goes,
it's
all
like
right.
hanging in the background somewhere.
Like Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad.
As a flashback, sure. Do that even.
Yeah.
Hope they have the whiskers on it too.
What we're probably going to see actually is X-23. X-23? In that costume.
You think we'll get an X-23 blue and yellow
Yes.
costume like in the
I
current
think
comics?
we would see that before we would see Wolverine's costume.
Maybe, but like, I mean, it almost seems like this is like past the age of superheroes because
True.
it's just so dystopian. Although there's one thing we should mention about this movie:
Mhm.
Stephen Wright
Stephen
as,
Wright?
as Caliban, Ricky Gervais's buddy.
Right.
Stephen Merchant. No, it's not Stephen Wright. That's somebody else entirely. Stephen Merchant.
Yeah, we were talking about how we never would have guessed in 100 years Stephen Merchant would
Yeah.
be the villain in a Wolverine film.
That was him?
That was Stephen Merchant.
No, it wasn't.
You don't really see him.
Yeah, you don't.
Like he's covered up, but there's been a shot of him already as Caliban, and he was in the previous X-Men film. He was the did you see Apocalypse Riggs?
This Spooky Man?
No.
That's him. That's
Why
Stephen
is he
Merchant.
being spooky?
Because he's the villain. He's the bad guy. That's actually sort of what he looked like in Apocalypse, except he didn't have...
It was a different actor.
Yeah.
And
He's trying to look like Voldemort.
It's Scott.
So I barely remember Apocalypse. I thought he died in Apocalypse. Am I wrong?
No, they kind of just left him behind.
Okay, like I couldn't remember. I was like, I thought he died, but my mind trailed so often in that film that you know.
There were characters all over the place in
Yeah.
an Apocalypse that it was hard to keep track of anyone. And then they build up Olivia Munn. Psylocke's going to be back later because she walks away at the very end. But did anyone really care about that?
My favorite thing about that is apparently Apocalypse has the ability to like just top out your powers to a level that you couldn't have imagined. But for her, it was like, oh, she can make a whip now, as opposed to just a sword. I was like, oh, that's cool, I guess.
And I've seen that meme too, where Apocalypse is like, "Bring me your best mutants," and they find Angel, who has a wing that's missing, he's
Broken
drunk.
wing.
Storm, who he just happens to run into, which is like, okay, I get it. It's just the first.
But nobody
wing
brought
that
her. She just showed up.
Yeah, and then Psylocke, they just felt like there were other mutants he could have chosen or they could have presented him with that would have been way better than any of those three, especially Angel.
It was like a really poor version of how they did the last story arc in X-Men Evolution, where like Apocalypse was like you had like Mystique who could like shapeshift into a bunch of animals all at once and all this stuff. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Oh, and then Magneto, who was like the only legit like mutant.
Yeah,
that I was like,
true.
oh, okay, cool, and he's like destroying the whole world. I guess that's fine.
You can do it. And then he just starts like destroying everything.
Why didn't Quicksilver just tell him like, "I'm your son"? Would have solved everything.
Yeah.
No.
Daddy issues.
He would be like, no.
Logan is set to release March 3rd, 2017, less than half a year from now.
Yeah.
Jean Valjean.
You had mentioned Tim Miller, Deadpool.
Yeah.
He's the director. It was his first major film, but not his first project. Like the guy's, 50-something. He's done several things already. But he was attached for Deadpool 2 because it made so much fucking money. Well, now it turns out that Tim Miller dropped out of the sequel citing creative differences.
Yeah.
Including disagreement on the casting of Cable.
Yeah. Isn't that disagreement with Ryan Reynolds, though? Or
Ryan Reynolds agreed with the studio as well because both the studio and Ryan Reynolds balked at the idea of Kyle Chandler from Friday Night Lights as Cable.
I don't even know who that is, I'll be honest with you. So,
Like, I've seen his face
yeah.
in several things.
I'm going to look it up right now.
I don't know, it's...
Because I never watched Friday Night Lights. Friday
guess-
Night Lights?
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but I guess Tim Miller was set on Kyle Chandler as Cable even before starting to work on Deadpool 2, and since they didn't want to use him, Miller also wanted to take the sequel and stylize it more. Whereas, again, Reynolds disagreed with him and said, no, it needs to be a raunchy comedy just like the first one.
So I guess the question is Reynolds right that they just need to...
Oh, that guy.
They just need to do exactly just the first film again because it worked the first time and therefore it will work the second time? Or do they be a little bit more daring?
I think give people what they enjoyed. Just do it all over again and make another fucking over $300 million. I don't even remember how much that movie made. Just keep doing that. And unfortunately, it looks like Tim Miller, being that Deadpool was his first major film and it was fucking major, he probably got this into his head of like, okay, well, I can continue to do whatever I want. But they're like, no, we're dealing with big bucks now. You have to pretty much run things through the studio way more often now than if this was just like, well, good luck. Let's see if the movie does well. They want to make sure that this makes them as much money, if not more, than the first. So they're probably putting more stipulations on him and saying, For example, you can't change the style of it. You can't really cast exactly who you want every time. And he's one of those directors that won't put up with studio stuff, apparently, and decided to leave.
Well, then that's what happens. You have to either do what you're told or rage quit.
Kyle Chandler, like, he was the thing that I know him from is Bloodline on Netflix. Okay. And I will say he's really good in that. Even though he's just kind of a one-note character. Like, I don't think it's his acting. I think it's just the way they wrote him. Like, so I don't have a whole lot to go on, but I'll be honest, I don't see him as Cable.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
He's not a bad actor from what I've seen him in, but I don't necessarily see him as Cable.
I also don't see Stephen Merchant as Caliban.
Well, that's true too. Fair enough. Good point.
Last bit of news here. Pretty huge. AT&T have tentatively agreed to buy Time Warner Inc. for $85 billion.
Batman's worth more.
He is worth more than $85 billion. I don't know why I saw that too and thought, really? Just $85 billion for Time Warner? They own HBO, they own DC Comics, CNN, Warner Brothers, TNT.
It was funny because, like, when I looked over the show notes, I would have had nothing to say about this, except I actually heard something about it on NPR. All I really have to say is the guy who was advocating for the buyout sounded like the biggest shiesty guy I've ever heard. Like, every concern that they brought up, he tried to pivot off of and, like, say something. Oh no, this is great because of this. And, like, no, well, you didn't answer my question. Like, and you never hear that on NPR. Where they're just like, no, you didn't answer my question. Because it's usually, like, very civil discourse. Mm-hmm. So it was really weird to hear, like, the guy advocating on behalf of them to like constantly, like, pivot away from the answer.
Do you think they're going to allow it? Is it some kind of monopoly in some form, or?
I don't know. Like, it's hard to say. Like, I guess that's why they look at it first, like, to see what the effects are going to be overall. So I mean, if it's legal, and it goes through, then it goes through, and we just see the ramifications after that. People who build their lives off of this more than I do are going to have the answers.
You know what we're going to see if this happens? Like, get exclusive Justice League videos, but only on your AT&T phone.
Right.
Yeah.
Guess who's got AT&T, bitches? Yeah!
Also, in all the movies, everyone's going to be using AT&T services. And do they have devices? I don't know if they have devices.
No. Not specifically to them.
There's already OnStar in the Batmobile, so...
AT&T's previous company purchase was TV provider DirecTV in 2015 for $48.5 billion. They're getting massive.
Ugh. They're just going to buy it all.
I did hear something funny about President Trump wouldn't allow such thing to happen. Because the corporate media is turning into a big monopoly.
Yeah, I think this was, like, one of the few things that, like, Trump and other, like, Democrats both, like, agreed on that shouldn't happen. So
stuff like this.
It was like a weird moment of synchronicity where...
And Hillary wasn't sure about if they donated to her foundation or not.
Nah, I didn't hear about that. But, yeah, like, so, I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously, if they keep buying up everything, then, yeah, it's going to be bad. But it's also a company that, from my understanding, like, doesn't really understand how media is changing. Mm-hmm. They're not evolving as quick. So, like, whereas, you know, people have Netflix and Hulu and want to get, like, their content, you know, right then and there. But we'll see what happens. Like...
So speaking of Trump, did you hear what happened to his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Oh, Jesus.
Somebody took a sledgehammer and just destroyed it.
I thought someone took a shit on it.
No, that already happened.
Oh,
that already happened like months ago.
People kept taking their dogs and doing it. And
yeah, that too.
I really feel bad for, like, the immigrant that has to clean up those stars, and these people are like, Donald Trump. And there's just some guy working, like, minimum wage having to clean the nasty stuff they're doing to it.
He's destroyed his brand. Is really what it comes down to. Like, he's always about his brand, but it's gone now.
Well, regardless of the outcome, I think it's going to help him a lot. Whether he wins or loses, this is going to set him up for...
Well, you heard about Trump TV that's coming out, right?
That's already out, isn't it?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't know. It's going to be a thing, though. Anyway, moving on. I'm done with politics. I cannot anymore. Before
we jump into the Riggs questions and the game that he doesn't know about yet, he doesn't understand what's happening, what's on the line... What's this even about?
I'm lost.
We're going to do our Patreon shout out of the week.
This week it goes to Brian. His Twitter handle is at Brian Shoup.
Shoup.
Shoup?
I confirmed it. Shoup.
Shoup?
Because
English is horrible.
Toss my hands
It's
up and shout.
Because, like, soup has an OU.
And so the shout.
And, yeah, and there's also, I don't know. Man,
There's also
okay.
trout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But there's a third sound that
And there's
OU
troop.
makes.
you know.
Ooh, yeah.
But that's T-R-O-O-P, though.
No, there's T-R-O-U-P-E.
That's not... Oh, yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
It's the E, though.
Like a comedy troupe.
Okay, well...
So again, that's at Brian Shoup1 on Twitter. Be sure to give him a follow, as well as the rest of our Patreon backers, because they are helping us out in creating a higher quality show for all of you out there, as we just hit our Patreon goal of Alphonic. It lets shows like these or past ones where we can actually have guests on, and we can level out the audio based on everyone. So huge thanks to all of our backers. If you do want to back our podcast, that's at patreon.com/thereasonsimebroke. For as little as $1 a month, you too can get your monthly shout out.
And of course, guys, our podcast will always be free. The best thing you can do for us is leave us a review, let your friends know about us, talk to us on Twitter. We do this show for all of you.
And also, huge thanks to fandomfi.com for helping us out at the $5 decal tier. That's fandomfi.com.
And I'd like to formally apologize to Brian that someone else got his name wrong.
All right, so Alex, you need to give Riggs the breakdown of what this is, and I'm going to get what's at stake, as well as some beers for everyone.
All right, Riggs. Well, back in episode 208, you gave some details about your life. Oh my God, I lost my show notes. You basically we tailored this whole thing to you. So we've got a little bit of a trivia game based on information that you put out into the world, and there are stakes at hand. So
Can I see the answer key real quick?
No. So basically, we're gonna do some questions and answers. Based on your answers and how well you do, will determine how well you eat for the rest of your trip here.
We don't feed you if you get them wrong.
Or basically like
Don't
maybe
worry
not
about
how
that big dog cage we're going to put you in.
like the word well is very subjective here because it's going to be based on what we believe to be your own personal tastes. So
And you have to agree to the terms.
you have to agree to the terms.
Where's his prizes?
Yeah, go ahead and bring them out so you can see.
I thought the beer was my prize. I thought I already won.
That's just yeah.
This, by the way, have you guys had this before?
It's good.
It's delicious.
I've had
Do you
one.
like cherry cola?
I've had one.
Oh!
I'm so excited!
All right. So for those of you who
Can't see.
for anyone who's not in this room right now, Daniel just walked in with a stack of Lunchables.
Pizza Lunchables.
There's pizza. There's
some nachos.
there's the nacho ones?
Yeah, more
pizza. So we got some ham
and cheese and
with
crackers.
Oreos. We got turkey. Is that turkey? No, bologna
Ooh.
with chocolate chip. Now,
Only the finest from, I don't know who this is. Is it just Lunchables? Is that the company?
isn't it Oscar Mayer?
It's Oscar Mayer.
Yeah, it's Oscar
Okay.
Mayer.
I don't see Oscar Mayer anywhere on here, so I don't think they want to associate themselves with
This makes
Lunchables.
3
their own
pizzas.
product.
Pepperoni made with pork, chicken, and beef. Wow.
The multi-animal.
Oh, and they list all the chemicals in it.
Not that I've ever read. I
So
just
we-
eat it.
We've got what
Do
is
not
it?
eat.
10 questions and then an 11th for like a tiebreaker type of thing.
Yeah, or a bonus to try to get you the Lunchables. And do they know why Lunchables? Like, I don't think the listeners know why Lunchables are a big deal.
You go ahead and explain that.
Riggs eats like a child. He's posted pictures before, less than like 3 months ago on Facebook of him like dinner time, and it's Lunchables on a tray, and he's got like orange juice. Back when I first when we graduated high school,
Orange juice.
when we graduated high school, we used to hang out a lot. And at your place, you had your diet of hot dogs, and Sunny Delight, and you called it juice. I'm like, that's not juice. That's Sunny Delight. There's 9% juice in that.
But there is juice.
But you're not separating the 9% from the rest of the Sunny Delight. Like it's Sunny D.
It's like Angry Orchard. There's supposedly 2 apples in every bottle of Angry Orchard. So that counts as like a fruit.
That's still more juice than Sunny D.
Yeah, actually.
And that's only what I saw. I don't know what the rest of your diet was, like aside from that.
Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts, that's
Instant
true.
mac and cheese. Am I getting these right?
Right. Now,
Yes.
now we know the carrot in this little quiz game.
What's going to be his first prize? Should we start out with the pizza, or should we
I don't know which
start
ones he
with
likes
ham
the
and
most.
cheese and
Yeah,
make him
I
work
don't know.
for it?
But
I'm not going to answer.
What's
You
the
weren't real
stick?
excited about this bologna.
That's true. So
So bologna's first.
Sorry.
Give it
and
first.
He's so disappointed. I saw his face. He's like,
But you got to build up. It's like back in the day. If you guys remember,
light bologna.
if you guys remember, like the Bozo the Clown show, he had the buckets.
Yeah.
And like as you threw further and further, you got better prizes. So
Yeah.
you started with the garbage prize, which was like I don't even remember anymore, but. All I remember are the buckets, and like even if you were a kid and you missed that first bucket, he still like put it in there for you because he's like it's a crap prize. I don't care what you
It's
get.
like the finger handcuff thing.
I don't remember. I don't
Chinese
even
finger
remember.
trap.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think even that would
Don't
have been
correct
better.
me. This is my show.
This cookie looks pretty good. Do I get the cookie if he gets it wrong?
that's up to Mr. Riggs.
If he gets it wrong?
If he gets it wrong? Oh, yeah, we can do whatever we want with these.
All right.
I'm gonna bury him.
The dog will dig him
I'll
up
give
and
him
eat
to
him.
the dog.
She would like it. I would
We'll,
the cheese.
we'll make Clayton eat them in front of him.
Now-
Just make a sad face the whole time. Like,
Why?
gross.
He's like, why did you get these wrong?
You mentioned there's a range, right? Like if within 5 years or 3, depending on what the question
Depending
is.
on the question, yeah. Like, we can discuss that as they come up.
Also, the final incentives, too, if you don't get a majority of these correct, and this is what you have to agree to, you will go to a restaurant of our choosing, and we will pick the meal out for you, and you have to
eat it.
eat it.
Oh, jeez.
And you have to finish it. Not like last night where I was actually proud of you for getting the shrimp and mushroom
Right.
pasta, which I was like, oh, it's better than what I'm eating. and then you didn't even finish it. You left most of it on the plate.
I'll agree to these terms with one stipulation.
The mushrooms can't be too big.
No green beans. That's my only stipulation.
That's fine. And what we're picking isn't like, oh, the sushi ball, like, it's not going to be like testicles or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's going to be something that we think
It's
that
something
we'd
that
enjoy.
we would eat.
That you probably
Will
wouldn't.
Or maybe you will. Who knows?
He's-
Expand.
So that's the
world.
stipulation. If you get a majority of them wrong, that's what you have to go to. But otherwise, Lunchables.
Yay!
All right. So
Agreed? Yes?
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
All right.
We have 5 witnesses.
And
here,
we have, let's see,
including
1,
Ace.
2, 3, 4, 5,
And Ace
6.
will not
How
let you
about
forget.
every 2 questions he gets right, then he gets a Lunchables?
Okay.
All right.
That's fine.
And I can eat them like right now.
No eating on the podcast.
All right. So the first group of questions is based on your profession as warehouse stock boy.
This is again questions or facts that he threw out
Yeah.
previously, right?
From
Okay.
episode
Yeah.
208, again.
And very
All right.
specifically, these are forklift questions. So, do you want to do the first one?
Sure. All right. Question number 1. Mr. Riggs, name at least 3 components of a forklift.
There is the seat.
Nope,
That's
not
not a
on
component, no.
here. Not on here.
Okay, so there's the forklift blades.
Judges,
I don't see it on here.
hold on a sec. I don't want to read them out loud. That's the thing, because then he's gonna know.
I don't see them.
It's not on there. It's
It's
not a
not on there.
component. It's on the workings of the actual forklift, not features of it.
Oh, but like what it's for?
How it would work,
How it would work?
like
The
for-
mechanics of
the
it.
mechanics of it. There you go.
Okay, so there's the lever.
I know exactly what Clayton was referring to, and Clayton hasn't even seen the notes, and he has one already. And that's that. Clayton was doing a downward motion, and Riggs goes the lever.
So I think
He's referring
that
to
is
this.
essentially
Yes.
is what he's saying.
Yes.
So
I mean, do we want to give him that one?
are you talking about like Till?
I mean,
Yeah, to Clayton, not to Riggs.
So Clayton, you are halfway to a Lunchable.
Yeah, you know what? Clayton's gonna get your Lunchables, the leftover ones.
Like, can we do that? If Riggs gets it wrong, like Clayton gets a try. And if he wins, he gets a Lunchable.
There
He
we
can have
go.
the pizza Lunchable too.
No.
That's
Okay,
what's at
so we're
stake.
still waiting on these 3 components.
I guess I'm just confused
And I've
by
already
the
given
question.
you. Okay.
I guess I don't know what the word
Now
component
we
means.
can give you one,
Give me one.
but
and
then it's not one you can choose, obviously.
No, but that'll...
So we're eliminating one.
Here, give him that one. No, that's is that too simple?
This
This
one?
one. Yeah.
That one? Okay,
Okay.
give him that one.
Although that might confuse him because he did say the blades. Okay.
Right.
So one of them, the wheels.
That's not fair.
By the way, what was the source of this information? Because this was your question.
Only the finest, Wikipedia. Their
Okay.
sources.
So according to
Very bottom,
Wikipedia,
the wheels.
the wheels.
Okay.
just name as many parts of it as you can. As
And
long as you
I'll
get
see 3.
three.
Okay, so yeah, there's there's the steering wheel.
Nope, not there.
I don't know, because there's the blades. There's the chair that you sit in.
This is how a forklift works, by the way, in the mind of Riggs. You just need a chair, some blades, and a
There's
lever.
pedals.
Pedals, is that on there?
Nope.
Okay, keep going.
Because there's a gas pedal, and then some have clutches.
Okay.
And then some have the little doohickey that lets you know when you're going into forward or if you're going into reverse.
Doohickey is not on there. I can guarantee you that.
Are there any safety components?
None that you use.
But safety components that are typically needed.
When you were hired, they probably explained these to you.
Nothing. They didn't. They just said go. There's the ignition. I don't know. The key. There was a safety component that we used is that when we first turned it on, we had to answer like questions that were on there, like
Are
Like
you
a-
drunk?
like a computer?
Yes or no?
yeah, like a computer, like a safety checklist.
He used to make you blow on the thing that you're blowing. What would turn on?
If it's a propane one, then there's a propane tank, and you have to worry about the nozzle, but they're not all propane. Some are electric. And so then there's also the battery.
It's
Oh,
pronounced.
there you go. We got one.
Oh!
The power source.
A power
Power
source.
source is one.
A
And you
power
said the battery,
source.
yes.
And I said ignition. Okay, so there's the battery. There are chains that help it go up and down. That help the blades go up and down.
Okay, what are
they
called? Do
specifically
you know what they're called?
No, they never.
Okay,
explain
well, it's
that.
rigged, so we're going to give them that one. Hydraulic lines. That's
Yeah.
the second one.
Okay, so
You've got 2.
I have to, and I need one more.
You
Yeah.
need one more. Although, are these the blades?
No.
Oh, no. Okay, all right.
Technically, chains would work off of a pulley mechanism if it had chains. If it,
I think
most
right
of them
now
are
Clayton is
hydraulic.
winning your Lunchable.
I've never heard them refer to the fork as a blade before. Everybody I've always dealt with called them
The-
forks.
No, we call them blades because we don't just use forklifts. Is we use other stuff.
What, attachments to the forklift?
There are other attachments that you can put on. You can put on like a pallet thing, and it doesn't go into the pallet, but there are attachments that you can put on, and it's permanently attached
It goes-
to the thing.
I think that counts.
That's sure. Let's get
yeah.
that.
Okay, one of them was attachments. Yes.
Do we want to let Clayton try for 2 more?
If you can outdo, if you can get 4.
That's a contest.
If you can
now.
outdo doohickeys and...
Clayton's just like, I don't want Lunchables.
Nah, I'm good.
So according to Wikipedia, the
There's a cabin.
components of a forklift are the power source, the mast. You blank face.
You know what the mast is, right? It's the part that's in the front that the blades go up and down.
Like,
Oh,
Clayton
yeah,
doesn't work with-
That's my blind spot right there. That's why I'm always running into shit.
So after the frame.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah,
I agree. There's also that part above
Technically,
you to
that
stop
would
you
be
from falling out.
considered the
Yeah, and what's the part
part that
above you
holds up
called?
the seat.
What do you sit in?
You sit in.
Cabin.
Is it really called a cabin?
Yes.
or a cab, yeah. There's a counterweight.
Oh, the counterweight.
Oh, of course.
No, but hear me out. Hear me out. I work with different machines, and the battery is also the counterweight.
That sounds like it was rigged together. Like no pun intended there. All right, it's got axles, it's got wheels, an overhead guard, load backrest.
Yeah, but that's also the guard.
Listen, we're going by Wikipedia.
It can also be part of the counterweight.
The hydraulic pump.
Which is what I thought he was talking about, the hydraulic pump, because he was going up and down.
Yeah.
Hydraulic. It was literally like kind of.
And Riggs goes, the lever.
Yeah. Well, like lever, I was like, all right, like it's got hydraulic controls in there, hydraulic lines, hydraulic cylinders, and then the attachments.
Yeah, I guess hydraulic controls would have fallen under that. So we're going to give it to him.
I guess
Alright.
blades technically
That's
would have
one.
counted as attachments
Yeah.
as well. But they didn't specify on Wikipedia.
Oh, I won one. Oh!
You're 1 for 1, 100% so far. You've got an A, sir.
And I'm worried because I really struggled for it. And these are only going to get harder.
All right.
All right, so question 2. Do you want to do this one, Kelly? We'll just go this way.
Sure. So this is a true or false question. So you got 50-50% chance right here to win this light bologna and American cheese made with chicken and pork cracker stackers.
With a chocolate chip cookie.
With a chocolate chip cookie. True or false? The start of World War II spurred the use of forklifts trucks in the war effort.
Can you repeat the question?
The start of World War II spurred the use of forklift trucks in the war effort.
True.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Clayton couldn't wait.
It's actually really simple if you think about it. They had an
I want to hear Riggs' explanation.
So
Don't kill the golden goose, dude.
no, because in World War II is when
Here's your lunchable, by the way.
Yay.
You get to hold it.
So in World War II, that's when they started making actually like warplanes.
No, go ahead. I want to hear this. So warplanes.
And the parts to the warplanes are heavy, so they had to use the forklift just to move the stuff around.
All right, Clayton, what's the real answer?
So, before they had an abundance of people. So, usually guys would get together and lift stuff. But if they were all off fighting the war, not so many dudes are just around in a warehouse, hanging out, moving stuff. So they used forklifts to move stuff around. That's when they first started actually using them. They didn't actually want to replace the people in the warehouses before, because they would just have a bunch of people out of work, and it was already the Depression.
Professor Clayton.
Claytonpedia.
Fact checking.
Yeah.
All right, so you got your first Lunchable. Could be your last. I don't know. I don't know how well you're going to be doing here.
All right. So, number 3.
Okay.
Employers must certify that each forklift operator has received training and must evaluate each operator at least blank every 3 years.
So it depends from state to state, and it actually can depend on from company to company. We do it once every year. So I'm gonna say 3 times every 3 years.
3 times every 3 years.
Riggs has to do it once every year.
That's what it is. That's just what they told me.
They're just making you do it as often as possible. No.
That's false.
I just wanted to show you my license.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm certified.
They typed that up on Word.
That's bone. Can I take a picture of it? Am I allowed to take a picture of your certification?
Let me see it, because I think it's got my employee. Yeah, I would say no because my trainer's name is on there,
Okay.
and I still work with
All
that
right,
guy.
no problem.
Did they pat you on the head when they handed that to you? It's like, good job, Riggs.
No, but they were very surprised.
I don't think certification cards are supposed to have smiley face stickers from the 3rd grade.
A little gold star.
But technically, that was wrong.
Yeah, that was wrong.
The gold
Too
stars
often.
get put on there every time you did something bad. And if it gets too many of those, they take it away.
So what's the real answer then?
Once every
3 years.
Once every 3 years? I'm just saying that my...
So now
my
you're going to
job
go
is-
back and be like, why are you guys making me do this every year? Wikipedia says I only have to do it once.
All right, question number 4, Mr. Riggs.
This is a new topic, by the way.
New topic.
So we're out of forklifts. Although when you go back,
Although
you can tell people about World War II efforts and everything.
So you got 2 out of 3 right in the forklift category.
Okay.
The Foo Fighters
The Foo Fighters.
are also known as blank, blank, blank. It's a 3-word name that they're also known as.
So, and to give people some background, from what I remember of the last podcast, the Foo Fighters is your favorite band of all time.
No, I had a personal experience with them, but no, the Eagles are actually my favorite. So the Foo Fighters are actually. I wish I knew this because then I could have studied beforehand. Rock and roll band? I don't know.
Rock and roll band.
Do you
That's
know
4
Clayton?
words.
I would assume it was because originally the lead singer, who was from another very famous group, instead of putting his own name as the such and such band, he put Foo Fighters just messing around on his demo tape. Because he was actually going to be embarrassed because he had just turned down Tom Petty before that. If he put out an album and everybody just shit all over it.
Mm-hmm.
So
You got one of the words.
So he was like real worried about that. So he just put Foo Fighters as a joke and he never changed it. And he talks about like, it's kind of funny. His big regret was that he actually named the band the Foo Fighters.
Well, the other name.
What's your answer?
I'm not sure now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Professor Clayton doesn't
what's
even
your
know.
guess?
I was going to say the Dave Grohl Experience or something like that. The Alan Parsons Project.
So, again, according to Wikipedia, another name for the Foo Fighters are the Holy Shits.
Oh.
So that's 2 in a row wrong
Oh, jeez.
for Mr. Riggs.
That's one Lunchables lost. Forever.
Yep.
Lost
One. Which one are we taking away? Let's leave the ham in him because he's still building up. So which is going to keep these?
We'll just...
So that's.
Yeah, let me see. Let me see the stack.
There we go. Handing off the stack. All right. So next question, Riggs. And you have a gap. So within X amount of years. How many years are we going to say? Within
Let me see.
You wanna say 3?
I
3 years?
Or 2.
I would
I
give
was
2
thinking
years.
2.
A 2-year
2-year gap
sliding
scale.
scale. So if you get it
2
within
back
2 years,
or 2
yeah.
forward? Okay.
Correct.
All right.
Okay.
Which you should be able to get this.
This one's pretty easy. Okay. What year did the Foo Fighters become active as a band with their debut album?
Look at Clayton's face. He's just dying to see the answer.
See, I'm using context clues because of his story that he just said about how he
Smart.
something about Tom Petty.
All right. Let's follow this train all the way down.
I love that you cut off the important part, which was about what he was doing before Tom Petty offered him to be his drummer.
Yeah.
So
He played with him on SNL because his drummer fell off. So he asked him if he wanted to be his drummer. He wanted to be a heartbreaker.
And what year was this?
Well, somebody had.
If you get the answer, then you get it wrong.
Okay.
If you guess this correctly.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I'm going to say 1998.
Oh, man.
Clayton, what are you going to say?
Clayton was about to explode.
It's.
What would you say the year is?
I'm gonna say 96
You would have got it within the gap.
because I know it was like the end of 95, 96, I believe. Because somebody had air conditioned their brain in 94, and that was the lead singer of it, the famous group he was a part of.
Which is actually coming up.
Yeah, that's going to be a question.
What's the name of the group?
Not that specifically, but
What's the name of the group?
So the Foo Fighters' debut album, 1994.
Oh.
So
98. Austin Powers.
I think we're getting to the point where we could have one Lunchable for each question. If you guess it right.
If it helps, I'm still doing better than I thought I was going to do.
That could be its own question, though. Like, we're looking at the next question. Like, that band could probably be its own question.
Yeah, you want to add it in?
it's just-
Throw it in.
Now I'm wondering, like, what year that famous person died in. Like, I'm questioning that because I know that they put out an album.
well, let's move because we're gonna find all that out.
Okay.
All will be revealed. So bonus question, mid-round bonus question, unprepared. What was the name of the band that David Grohl was in prior to the Foo Fighters?
You gotta guess.
No, I don't want to guess. Jane's Addiction.
Wow.
Clayton, what's the answer?
Clayton?
Nirvana.
Get out.
He was the drummer. Ironically, he was.
You never would have guessed that.
See, I know trivia, and I don't want to like spoil more if you guys.
So you like roadied for Foo Fighters, right? Like that. I'm trying to remember the story.
No, what happened was I was just working at O'Hare,
Oh, okay.
and they just put their stuff through United, and so I just ended up stealing one of the guitar picks
All right.
From their luggage,
from their luggage.
luggage.
Yeah.
I'm really glad we picked all this Foo Fighter trivia.
So, next question. Nirvana formed in 1987, introduced David Grohl?
Growl.
Oh.
David Grohl.
Grohl.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Anyway.
It's not Growlith. It's not pronounced like that.
Introduced David Grohl as their drummer in what year?
2-year gap still?
2-year gap.
You know what? Honestly, I was gonna give it like no gap, but now I'm like, all right, yeah, 2-year gap.
Well, he knows it's... Oh, I'm not even going to help him because he might guess something completely... There's a big clue here already.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 89.
Okay.
Well, it's in the 2-year gap.
That's
Okay,
what I mean.
fine.
Yeah, okay. 89 was when they put out their first album, but he was actually I believe the 4th drummer that they had.
See, you guys could have told me that.
Could have told you what?
That he was
You
the
got
fourth-
this right.
You got it
I
right.
did?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it right!
Within the gap. But you were only off by 1 year. It was
Yeah.
1990.
So we're going to keep it at 2 years.
They put out their album, and he had talked about how, because he was from the same area as the lead singer, and he had met him a couple times because he was in another group. And he was actually 16 when he joined them in 1990. He dropped out of high school and just was like, okay, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life.
Keep saying more things so that I can get the questions right.
We're actually moving away from his Nirvana connection.
Oh.
This one I would...
3-year gap? You think?
Sure.
No, because it was just given away.
No. So it's fine. So, sure, just give him a
Okay.
gap. It's fine.
All right. David Grohl, what year was he born?
Can he do the math?
You take the 9. Oh, man, never mind. Okay, I can do this. Because 1973?
No,
you
wrong.
just
I mean,
missed
that is
the
correct
gap.
math given off the information that Clayton gave him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You should have listened. Clayton's the wild card. You can't listen to him always.
19... Well, do you want
wanna
to
give another
wager a guess?
Do you think our information was wrong?
I actually think your information is wrong.
Really?
Because he was so young when he joined that they made the joke that he was like the baby in the group. And if he was as old as you think he is, then that wouldn't have made
We
sense.
got Kelly fact check.
All right, I'm working
Not
on this.
Wikipedia.
You could probably IMDb him, actually, because he's been in movies and stuff.
I'm just
He was on the
Googling his
Muppets.
name. I'm just Googling
Wow.
his name.
Yeah, he was part of the
The reboot.
the Electric Mayhem because Animal left.
All right, IMDb. Let's look this up. Oh, well, IMDb's got the same information we do.
1969.
Really?
But I will give him this. His math was correct.
Yeah, because he said he was 16 in 1989.
Shouldn't have listened to Clayton.
Look,
He's
skip-
not doing
look,
the quiz.
look.
He's
Look,
Professor Clayton.
I've seen the documentary and he talked about.
Did he talk about the year he was born? He was like, I was born
No.
back in 1973.
That's what I wasn't sure about.
Here's the thing. His math was correct. I say we give him one for doing good math.
Kelly is too nice.
Because what am I going to do with this ham and cheese Lunchable? I don't want that shit in my house.
Listen, I'm
And we're
not.
already halfway through the question.
I'm not doing
Ace
that.
would clearly eat them, though.
I'm not doing that
I
well.
don't want my dog to eat that. I'm going to give her real food.
I feel like you should give
Listen,
him
well, don't count this out as not being real food. This
Okay,
is.
Look. We can give him ham and American cracker stackers.
Just give it to him. Technically, you went off my bad information.
Okay, fine. I think listeners would have.
He was using deduction.
Listeners would have
Whether
been
it was
like,
right
just
or
give
not.
them the Lunchables.
Okay,
All right.
there you go. Now we're
Brings
on
us
to
to-
like some pizza Lunchables.
So now you're playing
No,
for pizza.
yeah.
So hold on. He has to get 2 questions right again, or are we just doing
Yes.
every question
No.
that he gets
I mean,
correct?
it's up to you. You want to give it to him for every question?
Let me
I mean,
see.
there's
What are we
enough
down
left.
to? We're down to 4.
We got like
Lunchables.
two
Yeah, we
true-false
have
questions coming up.
4
so he's got a
questions
pretty high probability.
Okay, so for the true false ones, he's got to get 2, but the other ones he can just get 1.
Fine. Okay, we'll do that.
In fact,
like,
this
I'm
next
thinking
one, if he
this
gets it right, I'm totally fine with him getting it.
Who's next? Is it who read the last question? What year was he?
I think it's me. Okay, so in 2012, what was the economic impact of the O'Hare Airport?
So this is now airport questions,
Okay.
and O'Hare specifically, because that's where he used to work,
Yes.
and we're used to race forklifts and bend forks.
Did you work there in 2012?
I think that I did, and so that gives me a leg up on this because I know that I believe in 2012 it was that they expanded and they paved more runways.
So is this asking what impact that economy had on it?
That they had on the economy.
That
correct.
they had on the economy. Okay.
So basically, like, how much
Let's. Okay.
How
yeah.
much money did they spend? Or
did they stimulate?
stimulate?
Correct.
There you go.
Within how many dollar amounts? And do we want to? Okay.
Billion.
Okay. So now you know it's billion.
Okay.
So within 2 billion, what was the economic impact of O'Hare?
I'm gonna say simply because it was 2012, 12 billion.
It's not within 2.
It's not within 2. Oh my god. Okay. So the number is oh my god. I can't believe how close you were. 14.1 billion. You were off by 0.1 billion.
If you had said 16 billion, we would have given it to you.
Why? It's not within 2.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
At
You're
that point
right.
it is.
1.9. See,
I
I'd like to
need-
know what he would have said before we even said billion. Because I don't think it would have been in the billion.
That's how much it stimulated the economy?
Yes. That was their impact.
See, you guys got to give me like multiple choices here.
Nope. Nope.
We gave you the big clue of billion. And we're giving you a
I
guess.
just remember for years they were trying to expand, but they had to they essentially had to use, what's that law? Where you take somebody's property and you give it whatever the value is for it to build whatever. I don't remember what it's called. But there were all these poor minority families that they were essentially kicking out of their homes.
Aw.
And the city's completely run by Democrats, and they were all like completely fine with it. It was really funny to me.
That's Chicago for you guys.
All right, we've got 3 questions left.
All right, and this one's a true false.
So
I need another beer.
All right, in 2006, the Spirit Airlines released a Hunt for Hoffa advertising campaign with the tagline, "Help us find Hoffa with our Hunt for Hoffa game and enjoy fares from just $39 each way." The point of the game was to dig for Jimmy Hoffa's body by clicking grids on the airline's website, and winners were taken to another webpage saying, "You found Hoffa." Did this happen? True or false?
And you just flew in Spirit Airlines.
I
This is
did.
why we chose this.
Okay, so you should know right away. I don't even know who Jimmy Hoffa is.
Amazing.
Here, I will Google him.
No, Clayton's got this.
I actually do got this. There was a movie based upon it.
I'm gonna say that it.
I want to hear who Jimmy
yeah,
Hoffa is.
Mia
first.
might want to see if
Okay,
Jimmy Hoffa.
he was
Okay.
a union boss who promised that he was going to go in and clean up the unions. And then he mysteriously disappeared. They never found the body. It's assumed that he was killed by the mobsters, and rumors have it that at a certain football stadium he is buried in the touchdown. One of the end zones.
The Mythbusters did this.
What?
They radar
Yeah.
Oh.
The concrete.
Did they find him?
They
No.
did not.
Did
Not
they
the
find him
concrete,
on the
but-
airline website?
under the end zone is supposedly where they had buried him.
Okay.
I believe it's the Giants. I could be wrong on that. They might have buried him someplace in
We'll
Jersey.
see. I can look at this.
Do you trust this info?
He did steer me
He's
wrong.
correct. He's correct.
But I'm gonna say true because I'm basing this off of Spirit and how they want to lower the prices.
Can we also say that Hoffa was involved in organized crime? Okay, he was not.
That's what. I mean, back then that organized crime and being like a head of a union went hand in hand.
All right, making sure.
So why do you think you said Spirit Airlines before we give you the correct answer?
Yeah, so I'm going to say that Spirit Airlines, see, what they do is they try to lower their ticket prices as much as possible, but at the same time they upcharge everything else. And so it's just a gimmick, it's just a tactic. And so I'm going to say that, yeah, I mean, they would run this tactic.
True.
Yes.
Correct.
But you got to get 2 true-false questions.
To get one Lunchable.
Good news, you have another one coming up.
Yes. All right.
Continuing on Spirit Airlines, in December 2007, the Spirit Airlines released a sale with the acronym MILF, standing for Many Islands, Low Fares. True or false?
I'm gonna say false.
Why?
Because I'm not saying that they wouldn't try to do that if they were too stupid and didn't know, but I'm pretty sure that they pay people.
It would get them a lot of clicks, though.
It would get them a lot of clicks, but I'm pretty sure that they would pay, that people get paid to say you can't do that. This is like a family.
Like a PR?
Yeah, PR.
representative?
Yeah, so I'm gonna say that that's false.
So they must not have had a PR rep because it is true.
Here's the funny thing. With places like Spirit Airlines, which are known for being essentially cheap, they actually don't care about bad publicity as long as they have publicity. So it wouldn't have mattered to them if somebody was like, oh, that's a fun stuff. They'd be like, yeah, it is. What are you going to do about it?
Do you want cheap flights? And they'd be like, yeah.
You're so mad.
He really wanted this pizza Lunchable.
I wanted the cheese one.
That is now mine.
Oh, enjoy.
Well, he's got one more question.
You got to make them into pizza tacos and eat them.
Stop.
Pizza tacos.
Done. You know you're supposed to eat this with cold cheese. It says do not heat up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people try to cook them.
Also,
Oh, wait. No, but
students
then
at
it
school
says-
aren't usually next to a microwave.
No, but now it does say that I can heat it for 30 seconds, but the pizza will be hot, and adult supervision is recommended. So Riggs can't have these anyway.
Okay, so we still have four Lunchables left. By the way, you already got a majority of these wrong, so you are going to.
It's happening.
All right, so bonus question. I think it's Alex's turn,
All right.
Good for one Lunchable. I will make
Now-
it a cheese Lunchable.
I don't
Oh, jeez.
I don't think this was on the podcast with Riggs, but my understanding is this is regarding your favorite movie. Bring It On. So
He's so
it's
happy.
a gimme.
It is a
He's got
gimme.
this face like, I got this. Here, I will...
Are we going to do a range again?
We're going to do a range. And I think since this is a kind of a two-part answer, possibly, let's do one Lunchable per one of those answers.
All right.
I would just like to say before you ask me the question, I don't want to say that it's my favorite movie, but I have watched it many times, and then one day I watched it and then proceeded to watch it again with the director's commentary.
So,
So you should get this right.
you say you don't like movies.
Yes.
But the movies you do like are Bring It On. And do you have all the sequels? And tell the listeners why you like Bring It On. Of all movies.
Wait. First off, tell him how many sequels there are, because he actually will know this. It blew my mind because I knew there was a sequel and then there was another sequel.
Yeah, because there's Bring It On, and then there's Bring It On again, and then there's Bring It On All or Nothing, and then there's Bring It On Take It to the Limit.
Wasn't there In It to Win It?
In It to Win It. That's the one I messed up on. In It to Win It, yeah.
Is that the third one?
No, that's the fourth one.
Okay.
Didn't they just come out with the fifth one?
They should. In theater. I'd buy out the theater.
What's your favorite one out of all of them?
You have to go with the first one. It's the original.
Well, I don't have to, because I haven't seen any of them.
Why the first one? Explain to us why the
Wait.
first one's the best.
Because it's the first one. It brought me into this world.
What about Fight to the Finish?
What?
That's a Bring It On.
There's
Fight
a
to
missing.
The finish.
There's
There's
missing.
All or Nothing.
There's another one?
I think there's 5 movies. It just says right here, Bring It On, the Championship Collection, 5 movies.
You
Is
just
there a
blew my
gap in
mind.
your collection?
There's a gap in my collection. So I'm gonna have to go out and buy the whole
Like
collection now.
on your visit down, you're like, we have to make a special trip.
Okay, let's see.
The second one was just trash because they're trying
It was just catching on the name.
no, because they're they're like, she's like, I want to be a cheerleader. Well, you can't be part of our cheerleading team. So she makes her own cheerleading team, and then they just like cheer again, like for like baseball and stuff that doesn't really have cheerleaders, but they just cheer anyway to prove that they're a cheerleading team so that they can go on to the finals and win. And then the movie at the end is just like, okay, well, you proved that you're a cheerleading team. No, it shouldn't have ended there. There should have been more. They should have gone on and then beat the original cheerleading team that didn't want them and been like, ha ha ha, we beat you. It was cut short.
70
All right.
too much information.
I
want to know
the-
what the first one's about, though. I've never seen these either.
The
Okay,
first
and
one-
you have the official
I have
list.
the official list here. So we have Bring It On, Bring It On Again,
Great title for a sequel.
Bring It On, All or Nothing,
Hayden Panettiere, I remember she was in that.
Bring It On, In It to Win It, and Bring It On, Fight to the Finish.
I did not know about Fight to the Finish.
Came
What
out in
year?
2009.
So
It's been sitting around for years. For
7 years.
Just waiting for you.
So as soon as I get home, I'm going to do a marathon.
To be fair, like, you've learned a lot this
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
So, like,
While I'm over here sweating because of these questions.
all right. So your additional question of Bring It On trivia. Okay. 2000s. Okay. So the year 2000s
2000s.
teen comedy Bring It On received mainly blank reviews according to review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes.
So I'm going to just give my theory on this.
Please do.
I think it was one of those that got mostly good reviews because that's why they continued making a bunch more. But at the,
No, wait, let him go. Let him go.
but at the same time, the ones that followed were mostly just like they didn't make it to theaters. So at the same time, I'm questioning if that was really the case, and they were just like,
Well,
let's do
we're
it.
just talking about the original Bring It On.
Yeah, not the sequels.
I'm gonna say it got bad reviews.
Is that your gut?
Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
I don't want
You going with your gut?
I don't
'Cause
want
it
to
didn't-
admit. I don't want to admit.
I'm gonna be
it,
honest. I'm
but-
gonna be honest with you. It doesn't sound like you're going with your gut.
Oh, then
I'm just saying it doesn't sound like you're going with your gut
Pick one.
because your gut was your original explanation.
Pick one so that Clayton can explain.
Let the hate flow.
it's just that I wanted to have good reviews just because I liked it with Kirsten Dunst and Eliza Dushku. Eliza Dushku, who's my baby, by the way. I love her.
Like your actual child?
Gross.
Your baby?
No. That's not the relationship.
Trump?
That's not the relationship that I...
Bae. Your bae.
Yeah, she's my bae.
That's what the kids use now. It's
Oh,
bae.
I'm not a kid.
You're eating Lunchables. We're being honest.
There were so many directions that could have gone. All right. So final answer.
Final answer, I'm going to say only because they made a bunch of movies based off of the one movie that it did get good reviews. So that's my final answer, is that it got good reviews.
Correct.
Got positive
Oh,
reviews.
good job, Briggs. Look at that. You get a Lunchable.
Oh, and I got the good one.
You got the good one.
Now, double positive, double bonus.
Within 2 points?
I give him 5.
5.
Okay.
Within a 5 point.
All right. And 5 points.
Based on how I'm doing so far, they're going to expand it from 2 points to
Expand it.
5 points.
I guess this was as of when you pulled it up.
Correct. As of when I pulled it up, which I doubt there's more reviews coming in.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
Well,
know
true.
that.
Fair point. I'll at least say this: it's in the positive. What was it? What is its current score?
It's meta score.
Its meta score.
Okay, so is it out of 10 or is it out of 100?
Out of 100.
It's out of 100.
Okay, then I would have to say an 87.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Can I guess on this one? Also?
Yeah. I'd like to hear.
I would say 72, just because I think it has to be above 60 to get like a fresh.
So neither of you got it within the 5.
But
Clayton was closer. He was off by 1 point. It was 66.
66.
66?
Because I know that, okay, he doesn't know the scoring system, but for it to be fresh, I think it needs to get above a 60 or a 65. I'm not 100% on that. And if it's below that, it's considered like not ripe or whatever.
Rotten.
Yeah.
Oh, look at these 3 Lunchables here.
Got some nachos. I got a cheese pizza.
Was that your favorite? The nachos? Just.
No, my favorite is the straight cheese pizza.
This one.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try it then, just to see.
You don't want to try this. Can we talk about the fat in these things?
It's all fat.
It's just fat.
Oh, well, you got 3 Lunchables out of the 6.
6?
How many questions did he actually get right, though?
Like 4, right?
He came close on a couple of them, though.
He did, like, way closer than I thought he would.
Do you want to give like a pity Lunchable?
An 87. Like, do you know how good of the movie would have to be to get an 80? Well, I will say now, it seems like a lot of movies are getting too good of a score on there. But I won't name the movies that I think...
I've actually never been to Rotten Tomatoes website. If I could say that in my defense.
When they killed Ebert and Roper finally, I was like, oh, that's the only, like, source other than, like, Chris Stuckman.
Mm-hmm.
I check out his.
So what do you think, Riggs, of the trivia based on episode 208 and based on the fact that I've known you for many, many years?
I wish that I had some sort of heads up so I could have studied, but
I don't think it would have helped.
I don't think it would have helped either.
Studying that forklift.
You don't like typically study for trivia,
and I don't. I don't know. I did have fun though. I did. It was a lot of fun.
And you won 3 Lunchables.
And I won 3 Lunchables.
you learned some stuff. You found out there's a new Bring It On.
Yeah.
That's true.
From 7 years ago.
You were
Yeah.
vindicated that the first one was mostly positive.
Yeah, that made me feel good.
I do like that you said that the reason you think the first one was positive was because there was many sequels. Not the sales, not how many people actually went to the theaters.
Yeah.
They all go off of Rotten Tomatoes. They're like, what's the score on Rotten Tomatoes? Okay, let's make more then.
We got one more in the pipe for this.
Well, I think he was saying that
I think that
they
there's
were
a
it
connection.
was a positive review because like he could reverse engineer that thinking because they made sequels. Whereas if it was like mostly negative, then they wouldn't have made sequels.
If it was negative,
but technically,
But like the
sales.
first Medea movie probably doesn't have positive scores, and
Let's
there's a
look it
million of
up.
them.
Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Here, you know what
Oh,
I'm going to
shit.
say?
I think that does
I'm
have
going to say it
positives.
does.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it does.
But does that count as the first Medea movie? I think it needs to have Medea in the title.
I just hate the people that are too good for Tyler Perry. Like, they're better than him. This guy that made a lot of money just doing his thing.
You are all wrong. It does not. Well, okay. The audience score is good. The tomato meter is bad.
That doesn't
Oh, well, there you go.
Audience score. Who wants to guess? Riggs, go ahead and guess this for a Lunchable.
An 87?
the audience score for the first Medea movie.
Keep in mind, most audience scores of like stuff is weird because it'll be a terrible movie and it'll be in the 90s. Stuff does a lot better than it should on there.
92.
It's actually 87. So
Which, by the way, within 5 points.
it is within 5 points. Which one do we want to give him, guys?
The nachos.
Still not the one he won.
Still not the one.
All right. So what do you think the tomato meter is? So from critics.
Oh, I would go with 12.
I would say probably 33, maybe?
16, also within.
I'm actually shocked it got that low.
I'm not based off of everything that Tim says about the movies.
All right. How much did it
Tim
make in the
secretly
box
loves those
office?
movies.
By the way, we're out of lunch. No,
I
we
got one more. I got
one
a pepperoni one. Another pizza one.
So is there one more?
How much did it make in the box office?
Oh, how much did it make in the box office?
Yeah.
Within $100 million.
Remember,
So
it got a high
Audience.
score.
So what did BVS make?
Why are you comparing Medea to
I just need a standard. Just how much did BVS make?
Please just answer my question.
Well, watch. I'll answer it perfectly.
Was
we
it
need
like
to look up.
200? No.
We do need to look up BVS's. You want international or overall?
Domestic.
Domestic, because I
Domestic?
doubt that any Medea movie went international.
Jesus. Let me see here. All right. You said national?
Yes, domestic.
Domestic, I'm sorry. Okay.
National.
It made.
If this helps him get it right, I'm going to lose my shit.
I gotta go to Box Office Mojo. Okay, so domestic 330 million. 360,194.
Then I'm gonna say that the Medea movie made 150.
Is that your final guess?
That's
How
my
many
final.
millions are we going to
20.
give him as a range? 20 million?
No.
I think that's how much it made.
What's his range going to be? What range are we giving him?
No, I'm not going to say 150. I'm not going to say 150. It made less than that. It didn't break.
Oh, it didn't make half of what Batman v Superman
No.
made?
I'm gonna say 53. That's what I'm gonna say. 53 million.
Very specific. 53.
Yeah.
What do we say? Within
5.
5 million?
within 5.
I like how
million?
he's making
He's making
the.
up. He's at 20, 10, 5, I guess. All right.
Within 5? Do you have a guess, Clayton? You still guessing 20?
It's probably more, because you got to realize how many...
Because of all the sequels.
I was actually going to go with how many African Americans there are in the country, and then, like, how many of them saw it.
And then
Because you got to realize that was the first one. It was before he really caught on with the audience. So
yeah, but I'm guessing that a lot of people saw BVS more than once. Where the people who saw the Medea movie, they just saw it the one time.
How are you still making this connection between BBS and Diary of a Mad Black Woman?
because Tyler Perry is the actual Dark Knight.
All right, Clayton, so what's your guess?
I'll up it to 25 million.
Okay, so you're saying 25, you're saying 53.
53.
We're giving him a 5 million.
You think 5?
I mean, you guys want to do 5?
Yeah, that's fine.
50 million.
Oh my god!
Last lunch of
God.
all.
I just remember
The BBS connection works.
Can I just like pop my collar right now?
I just remember that one of the years Tyler Perry was the highest earner in like Hollywood because he produces, directs, writes, and stars in his films.
Yeah. Well, he also
And-
makes his films like super cheap too.
He
Right?
does.
Like he's very frugal, and they
And,
shoot within like 8 days.
and
That's
yeah,
awesome.
he doesn't do a lot of reshoots.
Yeah, so I got to give him credit as a filmmaker on that.
And he talked about how like he does it real like, nope, this is one shot, we're done. But I remember one of the years he was like the highest paid earner in Hollywood, and Spike Lee was like, "We as the African Americans can do better." And I was like, "What? You can't make a better movie than this guy."
Oh, wow. Yeah, the budget was really low for that movie.
I need to know how this helped, how BVS, knowing how much Batman v Superman made, how did that help you come to the correct answer? Because I still don't understand that.
It honestly,
He's like, it's very easy.
it's elementary. It has to do with psychology because, like I said, people.
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
I know that you liked BVS. I know that a lot of people did not, and yet they saw it more than once anyway.
Okay.
And
Right?
and based off of the people that didn't like it and saw it, like, let's say they didn't like it and saw it like maybe 2 or 3 times. The people who did like it saw like maybe 3 to 5 times, ranking in that much money, 150 or 300, whatever. Just listen, because it worked. It worked. Did it not work?
Okay, all right.
So based on that, I went with, the Medea movies are aimed towards predominantly black people, and that being said, it had a demographic, and so I figured that they would probably watch it 1 or 2 times, where the other people that weren't in it.
He pulled a number out of his ass. Is the moral of the story.
Keep going. Keep going.
But the other people that weren't in that demographic, they probably didn't watch it at all. Like, you're not in that demographic, and you admittedly said that you haven't seen any of the Medea movies.
So how did you go by a quarter of what 300 million is? Is that a quarter?
It's less than a
sixth.
quarter.
A sixth.
Yeah.
It was my gut.
So he pulled a number out of his ass.
I wish we had like a whiteboard in here so he could write it down, and then he just gets to the end and goes, "My gut." I'm gonna throw up.
I also need to know what a successful movie made. Because BBS was still a successful movie, and I knew that it was probably wasn't that successful, so I just needed like some sort of range.
Not gonna lie, $50 million for a movie, it would be considered successful, especially with like his margin on like he shot those on that, especially that one on nothing.
Oh, that was good.
My gut. Just the calculations going on, and finally, he just gives up. He just gives up on himself and goes, "That was my gut."
I tried to sound scientific.
Man, that was good. Enjoy the Lunchables.
I just want to be clear. I earned all the Lunchables.
You actually earn them,
but I still have to go to your restaurant of your choice and order the food of your choice.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Which, what are we doing? Sunday?
They leave Saturday.
Oh, okay.
So we got to figure out some time to do it.
When do you guys leave on Saturday?
In the morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
Crap.
I have no idea.
I don't know that I'll be there. You'll have to, text me the options.
Okay, and then we'll decide.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to tell you the restaurant yet because you might look it up. So there we go.
Oh, man.
We hope listeners enjoyed the return of Mr. Riggs, the return of Alex, the debut of Clayton, and of course your weekly Daniel and Kelly. So thanks all of you guys for joining us on episode 215.
Yeah, man, I had fun.
Yeah, I was nervous. I'm hot and sweaty now, but
I got my stack of Lunchables.
I'm excited now, and believe it or not, I'm actually looking forward to trying something new.
Hopefully those Lunchables aren't hot and sweaty.
Yeah, those are supposed to stay in the fridge, but I don't think it makes a difference with Mr. Riggs. All right, so signing off, I'm Daniel.
I'm Kelly.
Clayton.
Mr. Riggs.
And Alex.
We'll see you next week.